You hear that? Rain. Welcome back to Rainy Day Discussion, and today we're taking a look at Chronobauble. This item, before Lepton Daisy, before Squid Polyp, this was known as the probably the worst green item in the game. Some might even say the worst item in the game. Before those were added, I think Lepton Daisy and Squid Polyp are a lot worse, at least now in 1.0. And I'll kind of get into why I think that is later on, because this item is heavily underrated by the community at the moment. And to be honest with you, I think it might actually just be fine as it is for the rest of the game's lifespan. I'm completely fine with this item right now. I even seek out this item sometimes. Like, if it was a multi-shop and I already have good damage, I might choose it over an ATG missile even. Because its utility is really important for Mithrix. I mostly do and Monsoon, no loop, boss kill runs. Or, I think I pronounced it Minlik. It's hard to pronounce, okay? I'll put something up, some pronunciation for it. But, in Monsoon no loop boss kills, this item's amazing. Because if you have a very low mobility, like maybe you have just one goat hoof or not even anything at all, and you're playing something like Commando, having a Chronobauble to slow Mithrix down to easily kite him is insane. Like, it is ridiculous how much this item does to Mithrix. And even if you're not going for that, even if you're going for obliteration, this item is still pretty good for bighorn bisons, for imps, for really scary threats like parents and stuff like that. They don't come closer to you as fast. But this item's not great on melee characters. Like, it doesn't really matter how fast Mithrix moves if you're mercenary. Or if you're playing loader. And that's fine to me. I feel like not every item should be good on every character where I would be asking for fungus rework. And we're not doing that. Because there would be riots in the streets if there was a fungus rework and it no longer worked on NG's turrets. Actually, I think a cool fungus rework would make it so it activate different video. Getting off topic. But I do have some ideas for Bauble, but I think at the moment, especially on Captain, because of his orbital strike being a delayed thing, having a Chronobauble to make it so flying enemies it's harder for them to move away from you, like the flying chimeras, I found this being very useful on them. And those are some of the strongest enemies in the game. I think I've died to them more times than I've died to Mithrix at this point. Because they just do so much damage, it's ridiculous. But on Captain, one Chronobauble, and you can pretty easily hit them with Orbital Strike, which is a big source of your damage. Sorry I'm speaking kind of weird, my nose is kind of today. But a decent rework for the item, and I talked to Daddy Yes Legs. I don't know why I said that. That is not the same thing. So an interesting rework idea that Daddy Yes Legs, the same Reddit guy from last video, talked about was adding an AoE effect, kind of like the Brilliant Behemoth. And I love that idea. I find that would help the item in like very scary situations a lot. Let's say there's multiple imps coming towards you and you're playing a character like Rex. Well, I guess not Rex because he has his shift, but if you're playing a character like Multi, actually, he has his... I guess not many characters would really benefit from that, now that I think about it. Let's see. Because if it had an AoE, Aquid it'd be easier for him to proc Deathmark, which would be very useful. It would be much easier for Loader to proc Chronobauble for Deathmark, which is not a great thing on Loader unless you have multiple stacks of it, increasing the duration, but it's still something. Artifice can only proc it with Nanobomb, but I guess if you're running Ice Spear, then that would be pretty useful. If you're running Ice Spear Nanobomb, or not, Ice Spear Ion Surge, it could be okay for Mercenary, but he doesn't really need things to be slower because he's going to hit him anyway. Be pretty good on Engineer with his turrets. Yeah, I think it would actually improve the item a lot, just giving it a small AoE effect. Nothing insane, and probably have it scale with duration still. Uh, a lot of people really want this item to scale with the attack speed as well. But in a fast-paced game like Risk of Rain 2, enemies attacking even like 20% or 10% slower is a huge difference. Even just to slow them by 10%, I could see this being a very powerful defensive green item. Because think about with brass contraptions, for instance. You know, they do that level 3 attack. What if instead of doing that, they went just very slowly? Like, that would make them so much less scary. Or, like, if Elder Lemurians did a little shotgun blast and did, like, one ball, one ball, one ball, like, it would be a lot less scary because you can't get shotgun by that. Or at least not as easily. So in a game where it's really fast-paced, enemies moving slower, one, makes the gameplay a lot less boring, and also makes it way easier to survive. Which, the game, I'm already getting pretty consistent with Monsoon boss kills. I don't think I want the game to be that much easier, I just want it to be more interesting. And Chronobauble, to me, already has its own role as a boss-killing weapon. A boss-killing tool. And when I talk about reworks, it's for items that either just don't really have many synergies at all, or items I feel like are very underutilized and just kind of ignored by the community. These items are very boring. I feel like we could definitely spice up more. Another argument that I've seen, and I believe it was Cornflakes on Discord who reminded me of this. Some people want this to be downgraded to a white item, which I do not agree with, because look at all the good whites in this video game. Soldier syringes, teddy bears, monster teeth is actually a pretty decent healing item early game. Lensmaker's glasses, goat hoofs, bustling fungus on engineer, tri-tip daggers, crowbars. Like, this entire row, besides maybe shield gen, stun grenades, even gasoline's good for death mart, is incredible. And then you have backup mags, energy drinks, sticky bombs. Sticky bombs are actually decent damage. AP rounds, focus crystals. Freaking up armor plate's incredible. And Topaz Brooch, like, most of the white items in this game are insanely good. So, why would you want to dilute the white pool even more? It already stinks to pull out a rusted key or pull out a fresh meat late into a run. Why add another chance of you getting a really bad white item when the good ones are so hard to come by anyway? Especially when they're really intricate to characters like Tri-Tip Daggers on Commando, Bustling Fungus on Engineer, and Multi, actually. Tri-Tip is insane with Multi. If you've not tried Blade Multi, please give it a try. It is ridiculous. So why would you want to dilute the white pool even more when it's already getting more difficult to get capped crit, Bustling Fungus and Engineer, just stuff like that? There's just no reason to. Another really interesting idea. It's kind of busted. I'm going to say this. I don't want this to actually be reworked from... I don't want Chronobauble to become this. It's just an idea that I had when thinking about the item. Especially this right here. Anyways, I'm shipping this to myself to arrive in 10 years. A gift from me to me. A reminder to make memories to slow down a bit. 10 years will pass so quick. Try to remember them. You got to put in effort. I was so close to reading the whole thing. I was so close. Try to remember them. You've got to put effort in life. What if there was an item that slowed down the difficulty scaling? Which sounds busted. It could be insanely busted. Making it a right item would make it probably on par with Clover. It just depends on how much. And Clover is just insane on certain characters. On Accurate and Artificer and I guess Loader as well. Is it really that special? Like, I'd much rather get a Hard Afterburner or some daggers with them. But that would be a really interesting item to me, because a big issue I have with Risk Rain 2 is that it's very fast. Well, it's not an issue. You have to go really fast to be able to get good runs, and that's limiting to some players. Like, some players like to stick to Drizzle or Rainstorm because they don't like going really fast. They like taking it slow. They like clearing out every single map on stage 1. Or on the first loop. Which is alright if you're boss killing, but you really want to get to Mithrix around like 25 minutes in. well, not two Mythics, but to Mythics' stage, because then he'll his little shoulder attack, his little uppercut hammer thing, will do about a third of your health, if not less, depending on character, which is really important to staying alive in that fight. Because you don't want that, you do not want that thing to break you down to one-shot protection. It's scary. But a difficulty scaling reducing item would be really interesting to see, because I don't think it's going to be better than Clover on certain characters, but I feel it could be just really strong and worthy of being a red item. Definitely let me know what y'all think about that. That's just a topic that that's something I'm thinking about. Is different kinds of items that we're going to. Because we already have multiple categories, like on kill, on hit, on damage received, on opening and interactable. It'd be nice to get more items like that, or more just unique items in general. Because if you think about it, this effect is really unique and really powerful, and this is why this is one of the most sought after reds in the game, and people get really hyped when they finally find it. But if you look at it, there's not many others that are that unique. Like Shattering Justice is a very unique item, very powerful item. Head Stompers is very unique. Ghost is very unique. Behemoth is really unique. And Macrobots, but that's a passive. But besides, I guess Yugahanas as well. And kind of Aegis, but it gives you Barrier, which Topaz Bridge can already do. That's not many out of all these reds. These things are supposed to be legendary. Why are they just really strong versions of other items? Like it just... Or not really strong versions of other items, but just like... I guess the ukulele, Tesla Coil are kind of just the same item, pretty much. But these should be a lot more unique, I feel, as red items. Instead of just double healing, which it's a very strong effect. I get why it's a red, but it's also kind of boring. Because it's just, hey, you know those green numbers? What if they were bigger? Which isn't really that interesting to me. Just something to think about when talking about Risk Rain 2, discussing Risk Rain 2. But that's going to be my discussion for Chronobauble. I really like the item now with Mithrix. It's actually carried me on a low mobility commando run because he just couldn't catch up to me. He moves 60% slower. Like, that's insane. With a boss that just keeps rushing you and rushing you and rushing you. Being able to just kind of walk backwards and shoot him. To proc your bleed, to proc whatever. I had like 200 bleed stacks on a really good commando run on Mithrix because of Chronobauble. I would not be able to reach that insane number without it. There's just no way. He moves around way too much to get that many consistent bleed stacks. But yeah, that's going to be it for Chronobauble. I do want to address some things. One is, the last video didn't really get much traction. But don't worry, I'm still going to keep doing these because I like talking about it. I really want there to be more content like this out there. The next video is going to be on Crowdfunder. Because I feel like this item isn't great. But it's also not complete garbage. Like a lot of people say it is. Its interaction with Bleed and even like Brittle Crown can be insane with Crowdfunder. Because it pretty much negates the downside of it. And it stacks Bleed really well. But let me know what y'all think about that item so I can kind of use those suggestions or those concerns in the next video. I feel like this is probably the best place to put that instead of posting on Reddit like, oh, by the way, the next one's this one. But yeah, I really enjoy doing this, and I plan on doing this every single day. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's Rainy Day discussion. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would love some more feedback and how to improve the series, because I do plan on doing a lot of these. And let me know what you would do to Chronobauble, because I feel like the item might need a little bit of love, because in two out of the three objectives in this game, it doesn't really do much for you. So it'd be interesting to figure out a way to patch that up a little bit. But yeah, that's going to be it.